If you guys have probably noticed, one thing I think you definitely need when you're doing something and when you're having objections, you go on presentations, et cetera, is you got to have some self-confidence. You guys probably noticed I might have a little of that. And you have self-confidence, though, for a couple of reasons. Not only have I been on quite a few presentations, but believe it or not, this is my first rodeo in practicing. So I know what to say. I'm going to, and again, I already know what they're going to ask me. So I'm confident in what I'm going to say. I will tell you that a good portion of the time, you'll get the objection will be handled just based upon sometimes the fact that you say something. And then the content of what you say, the tonality and how it is delivered will be upon how it's received by your potential customer. Your customer asks you, hey, can you reduce your commission? We don't want to do 6%, we want to do 4%. And you say, okay. I mean, if that's what you did, you're like, how many times you've been in the heat of the moment and somebody says that to you and that's what you do? Or your buyer that says to you, you know what, I know that every comp you've shown me is at $500,000 and the seller has this property listed at $490 and it's been on the market 20 minutes and I've been looking for houses for 2 years, but I want to offer them, $460 and I want them to pay my closing costs and I need the carpet changed. Okay, I'm going to write the offer and let's see if we get a counter. How many times? Think about it. We've all been there. We've all done that. If you haven't done that at least one time, you are not selling the houses. You just do, But how many times do you get to that point when there is something else that possibly you can do or say to get them to write a better offer? See, that's really the point here. That's what we're looking at. We're talking about objections. We're talking about instead of me writing this offer for $460 when the house is priced at $490 and the last closed sale the day before yesterday was $500, how about if I have something to say? How about if I said something like this? Well, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer? You said you really like this home, right? Well, yeah, we like it, though. We like it a lot. And you've been looking for, 2, 3 years, however long it's been, right? You've been looking for a long time. Yeah. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to stop looking or are you ready to start purchasing? Well, we would really like to purchase this house and whatever, but if we just feel that we would never pay the sticker price for it because they're asking $490, and I know that you say that it's $500, that, this is what we should do. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I understand your position. I've been that way. I've been in that situation and felt the same way before. But let me ask you a question. Why not us write an offer that the seller is going to have the opportunity to accept? See, the offer you're writing right now, you're giving the seller no option to accept your offer. The only option you're giving your seller is a counteroffer. And what if the seller decides not to counter? They don't have to counter. It's not like the law that they have to counter your offer. They can just reject you. I said, so if the seller just rejects your offer, how would you feel about that? Now, let me ask you another question. What if we find out that somebody else came in and bought the house for $480,000 and the seller accepted that? Would you pay $480 for it? Well, yeah, we could get it for $480. We would pay that for it. So if you could get it for $480, you would pay it. So you would feel pretty bad if someone else snuck in the back door and paid $480 for the house and you didn't get it, and you didn't even get an opportunity to buy it. Would you or would you not? Well, yeah, that would probably suck. We would feel pretty bad about that. Well, again, this is why we need to give the seller the option of accepting your offer. Why don't we do this? Why don't we write the offer at least $480,000? Now, I still think that's too low. You've seen the comp, you've seen where we're at, but at $480,000, I don't know, maybe you'll get some dialogue. You think $480,000 will get us the house? No, I don't. But I think the $480,000 is going to give you a better opportunity to get the home. I think that if you really want to get the home and the house is listed at $490,000, you should offer them at least $490,000 based upon the fact that the house across the street just closed for $500. But that's what I would do if I really wanted to buy the house. Do you really want to buy the house? Or do you say, okay. And then you write the offer, and while you're writing the offer, you're cussing the whole time. You're on win forms and you're cussing, and you don't even want to send the offer to anybody. You come down and you go to Matt's office and say, I can't believe the buyer wants me to write $460. And Matt says, I can't believe you wrote it. And then you guys do it, and you go through that dialogue and whatever, and all of a sudden the house sells at another price, and you're like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it, right? So again, will that person automatically come up or all this, that? No. But are you setting a different expectation? Are you possibly giving yourself an opportunity to get that home? I mean, you're setting yourself up. Rigo. Well, now, I would say, now I'm going to preface that, and that would be something we'll talk about, is that everyone's style is different. Okay? So, the first time when a person were to ask me, go ahead, Rigo, ask me the question. Yes, sir. No. Yes. Let me ask you something, Rigo. Based upon the information that I provided for you, you invited me into your home today because you thought I probably had your best opportunity for you to maximize the majority of your money was if you worked with me. Am I correct? So part of the reason you asked me over was I'm sure you're hoping that I would negotiate you the best deal that I could possibly get for you. Am I correct? So let me ask you this. If I can't negotiate my own money from my own family with you, how strongly do you think I'm going to be able to negotiate you the best price and terms on your home? Oh, no, I understand that, but let me ask you something. Rigo, what do you do for a living? You ought to come to my class. But no, whatever you do for a living. So let me ask you this, Rigo. You're for what you do for a living, and I assume you feel you're probably one of the best at what you do, right? So you're doing one of the best at what you do, and you do the best job you can possibly do for someone. And at that particular point, after you provide them with the best customer service, got them the best deal, whatever it is that what you're doing for a living, and at the end they told you, you know what, we love you and thank you, you did a great job, but we don't want to pay you what you're worth. How would that make you feel? Well, and it's the same thing. So let me ask you this. If I decided at this particular point where my fee is 6% to take 4% with you now, realistically, how hard do you think I want to work for you? So do you want 4% worth of work, or do you want 6% worth of effort to get the most money you can get and have a top-notch agent in the area negotiating, working on your behalf? Which one would you prefer? Well, you should call Randy. And if Randy's prepared to do it for you at 4%, then that's what you should do. Because one of the things I wouldn't do, though, is, to be honest with you, I would not badmouth another agent for that. And see, here's the difference in where I'm at, where some of you may be, and where you should be. I am okay with walking away from the deal if the person is not going to pay me, because guess what's going to happen? When I take 4% from you on the commission now, so now when the repair request comes in and the buyer wants this done, or the appraisal comes in short, like we had happen today, and this goes on and on, where do you think they're going to come to get the money? You're already caved in. You done folded up like a chair in the beginning of the transaction. So what are they going to expect you to do now? They're going to expect you to just cave in, and by the time it's all said and done, you're going to be at zero. You have to be able to stand your ground. You have to have a line in the sand, which is a different class, but the truth of the matter is that if you're lead generating enough, you don't care about saying no. You don't really care about the ones that get away. You're going to keep lead generating, and you're going to care about the ones that you get. You're not going to care about the ones that go away. No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to say. No, I would be sitting here lying to you and say that I've never done anything for lower than 6%, or that I won't work a deal with someone, or I won't do something like that. But let me tell you something. I'm only going to do something with somebody I like, and I don't know you well enough to like you. So I'm not going to cave in to you in the beginning. Don't know you well enough, Rigo. Yeah, I don't know you well enough. I'm not giving you my money. I don't know you well enough for that yet. Now, we might have a really great transaction, and at the end of the deal, or you may buy a home from me. So here, you know what, we'll just get into it. I'm sure you've heard this. Well, okay, we're going to buy a house from you, so can you lower your commission now? How many of you guys have heard that? How many of you guys just do it? Say, okay, I'll do that. You buy the home for me, and I'll lower the commission here. How many of you guys honestly do it?
I can do that right now. They're buying a KB home. But in Saudi, I'm getting 3% there.
And you figure that's all you worth there. So now what are you worth in the other? Okay.
They said, can you do 4%?
Mm-hmm.
4% is still in our house.
Mm-hmm.
I'll offer 2.5 and I'll get 1.5. But I'm getting 3% there at KB where I'm really not doing anything. I just give them my information.
Well, two things there. One, well, first of all, this just in your just in the specific language and what you're saying. See, right now you don't feel you're worth the money that you're making on the KB home. No, I'm not. No, that might not be what you're thinking, but that's what you just said.
But I sold her
I don't care what you sold. I don't care what you sold. You sold the home. That was your job, right? Your job was to sell their home. Now they found another home that they like you to sell. Now it's not your fault or your situation that you signed them up at KB and that you don't have to do any more work. Because how many transactions have you had where you've had to do a whole lot of work and made less money? That's just part of the deal. Now, but that being said, I'm not telling you that you were wrong. I'm telling you that's a personal choice. But what I will say to you is that you have to feel that you're worth what you charge. You have to feel that no matter what the circumstances are. Now, that same scenario, if that would have been me, in that same scenario, and if I felt, and again, I have to like you. Because I don't like you, I'd have just said no. Particularly after I signed you up already, because you can't get out of buying the KB home without me. I done signed you up. Okay, but now, that being said, I would never, I rarely would offer any sort of a discount on the home that they're buying. I mean, on the home that they're selling. Because you don't have any security. So, in that same scenario, I would say, you know what, Carlos, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to charge you my full commission on the house that you're selling. And then if you buy that home through me, whatever deal you want to work out with them, because I'm on camera, I would do. But you know why? Because I now have security that I'm going to get paid for this. And guess what? In their mind over here, they're going to get a discount, so they're going to make sure that they work. Because now they're going to drive around. They're going to do whatever they have to take. Flip side of the same scenario that you had. I just had that same situation. Wound up meeting these people. They were referred to me from a lender that I don't use out in Palmdale. We went, met them at the Williams homes out here. Decided not to purchase that Williams home they initially were. What we wound up doing, though, we wound up putting their home on the market in Palmdale. I sold that. Sold them a home up here in Canyon Country. I got my 3% on the Canyon Country house. I got my 3.5. Well, I can't say it for Felicia because I do charge 3.5, and I'll give away 2.5 unless I like you. If I like you, you get 3 as well. But that being said and done, I'm going to get what I got off of each deal. Why? Because I'm worth that. Because I earned that. And there are also going to be those transactions where I'm going to have, where to get the deal closed, I'm going to get the roof cert or the water heater strapped. Or I'm going to run to Home Depot and put the carbon monoxide detectors in. So that all that gets there. So it's all going to come out in the wash. But you know what? When you start giving it up in the beginning, you don't have anywhere to go, you know, toward the end of the transaction. So that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is, I'm not telling you that you don't change up. I'm telling you, you just don't get, it's your money. There's somebody that you're feeding in your family. So every time, if all of you watch boxing or UFC or any of that old Marvin Hagler stuff, everything, you're taking bread off of my kid's table. You're taking meat out of my child's mouth every time you give up $1. I'm not saying that you don't do it, but there's no difference from us being commissioned salespeople than someone else that, quote unquote, is on a regular job that's getting a salary or a weekly paycheck. Our money is the same to us and our family as it is to them. And none of those people working in those type of environments like to give up any of their money. Does anybody here think that what we do for a living, although it's not brain surgery, since people are having the biggest investments that they make with their homes, it can be pretty important. It can be pretty important, especially when the deals go bad and something goes wrong. Just like insurance, right? You don't need it until something goes bad. How many of you guys are on trial for murder and you start walking to the lawyer's office and you want to negotiate his fee? Or they tell you that, you're about to die because you got, whatever disease going on, and you tell the doctor, you know what, I just want to get a little bit of that chemo, or I just want to get a little bit of this, and I want to be halfway all right. You don't do that, right? You don't even think about doing that. So, why not hold yourself in that same type of accord? That's all that I'm saying. So, anyway, as we're moving on, so let's talk a little bit about some actual objections. And somebody give me something. So what are you hearing right now? What's your name?
My name's Adam.
Adam, I always forget your name. Thank you for asking the question. I apologize for forgetting your name. I'm going to write it down here. Go ahead, Adam.
My friend's in the business, so I don't really want to use the Elgin.
Okay. Anybody else hear that? Somebody else give me somebody give me an answer. Somebody says just what Adam they said to you. Randy, what would you say?
I'll say, why am I in your kitchen having this conversation?
Actually, well, that's kind of like a good response, actually. But no, right? I mean, kind of like that's what I would say. That's what I meant by that. I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but I can relate. Anybody else have anybody else?
Do you feel obligated to your friend, or do you really believe your friend can give you the most money for this home?
No, that's a good answer to your objection. That's a very good answer to it. That's a very good answer. Anybody have anything else? Let's spit some stuff out. Felicia.
As far as I like that point, I mean, that would be great. That's a great point. Also asking if does your friend work in this area? Their friend might have a license in Temecula, may not, they don't know the area, they're not familiar with courts, not familiar with disclosures and so on. How long has your friend been selling real estate?
Absolutely.
Well, 3 minutes. Well, you want to start selling your home, someone who could only do it in 3 minutes. Sometimes, well, do you want your friend to know a personal details of your financial life? Would you rather have a little distance there and keep the friendship and keep your privacy, protect your privacy by
Can anybody say that she's probably had that objection before? The way she was able, but that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I like it. When my mother's a real estate agent.
Right.
That one.
Right.
Then you should use your mother.
And that's generally, you can start there, but I mean, it kind of depends upon, you also have to remember how I said it a lot of times it's in the presentation and not just what you say, but how you say it. Because, particularly you start talking about somebody's mama, they might be like, I might not use my mama, but I ain't going to use you either. That doesn't done any good. Randy.
One of the things that I would also use in there is just trying to leverage the strength of our brokerage too, just because trying to find out where their mother's from, what brokers they're she's under or whatever. Just trying to leverage the strength of KW being what we are and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Sometimes that'll get our foot in the door and that'll offset a lot of other objections just by leveraging the strength of what we got.
Okay, but now you're Felicia, so you're not at KW. So what did she say?
Really exactly. Okay. Same.
Okay, I got you.
Unique spin.
Good point. Excellent point. Rebecca.
I've done a referral to the Twin Texas Bank to the mother. She had trust her enough, but she definitely didn't want to have that, and I don't want to use you, but things I feel bad. So I said, well, how about this? I'll do Twin Texas referral fee, and she said, perfect.
And that's that. There's nothing wrong with that either. It's just a matter of when you. Let me tell you, there's a couple things. The first thing about an objection, because I kind of got off track of a couple of things, and we dove right into some dialogue. Always remember this with an objection. The first thing you want to do is you want to isolate that objection. So what do I mean by isolate? You want to make sure that you're answering the right question. So your buyer tells you, I really like this house. It's a perfect house, but the carpet's green. So you're not going to buy the house because the carpet's green. All right, now more than likely in our mind, there's probably another reason. But if it were me, I would say things, okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you said you like the house, right? Well, yeah, we really love it. So the house has 4 bedrooms, just like you said you needed, right? Yeah, and it's in, the Stetson Ranch area, and you said that's where you want to be, correct? Well, yeah, we love this. Is exactly where we want to be. And price and everything, terms, everything pretty much works for you. No, it all works for us, but, Elgin's just got that green carpet. Okay, great. So let me ask you this. If we could solve the problem if this home did not have green carpet, If we could figure out a solution to that, would you be willing to sign a purchase contract and make an offer on this house today? You want them to commit to that part of it. Because if that's not the issue, they're going to backpedal. They're going to backpedal and they're going to say, well, you know, if the carpet was green, but you know what? $500 is really stretching us in price. We really would prefer to be around $475. Oh, I see. Okay, so really then what you're saying to me, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, is the carpet is green, but realistically, the carpet could be green, but if the price was at $475, would you make an offer on it? Would that be willing? Oh, yeah, if it was right. So then what is really the issue? See, the really issue is price. Why do you want to isolate the objection? Because you can go on all day talking about that dang green carpet, but that's not going to be the reason why they're really buying. They're just throwing something out at you to get out from in front of you and to keep from making a decision with you at that particular point. So you want to isolate the objection. Upon isolating the objection, what do you want to do to make sure that you're digging properly? You ask more questions. And as you know, you ask open-ended questions, or like in the old Floyd Whitman days, David, open questions. Who, what, where, when, why, how. You ask questions that somebody just can't say yes or no to. You know, why don't you want to buy this house? Yes. I mean, it doesn't work, right? You know, but you tell somebody, do you want to buy the house? No. Where do you go from there? You know what I mean? There's nowhere else to go. So, and you're right. You can say, why not? But you can phrase the question different to begin with and never have to go there. And then what does it get them to do? It gets them to talk. It gets them to dialogue. And eventually, what do they do while you ask enough questions? They Steve White you. They self-discover. Right? And that's kind of what we're looking for. Anybody else? Let's get some more objections. We got some 2013 stuff. How many of you guys are doing short sales or been doing short sales? How many people are you doing short sales and now the market has improved a little bit? You got your short sale candidates that say, well, we're just going to wait until the market keeps improving before we put our home on the market. Anybody had that? Anybody heard that? Matt, I'm going to pick on you now. So what do you say when somebody says that to you?
Also, are you aware that the mortgage that you're going to sign is going to be expiring, set to expire on December 31st, and you can be liable for the taxes?
Wow. Really? That's a good answer. Am I correct? Product knowledge. In Overcoming Objection, you have product knowledge. That's a great answer. Give me another one, because that's one we're going to all keep hearing. Anybody have anything else? I mean, that's a great one. But another thing, a thing that I'll tend to say besides that is, well, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let me ask you a question. We've had great appreciation here in the last few months. It's been like crazy, hasn't it? Yeah, I mean, when you came to see us, this time last year, we were 40% under the market. Now we're only 25% under the market, and it's only going to be a little bit before we can, sell it and not have to do a short sale. Great. You know what? Let me ask you a question. Realistically, do you think that with all the appreciation that we've got that quickly, do you think the market's going to continue to rise that fast? Well, I don't know. I don't know either, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, but let me ask you a question. If the market doesn't, let's suppose for a minute that it doesn't. Let's suppose it just cools off a little bit. Let's suppose rather than you get to 25%, it gets to, say, 15%. Can you still sell? Well, no, we've got to get that, and we want like a 25% profit off it. Well, let me ask you a question. Are you prepared to stay here another 5 to 7 years if that were to happen? Well, I mean, no, we're having a hard time making our payment now. I mean, we're making it, but we can't do anything else. Okay, so realistically then, is that if the market doesn't continue to improve at a rapid pace, not just a pace, but a rapid pace, there's a strong possibility that unfortunately you may not be able to afford the home, correct? Well, yeah, it's possible. Well, you know what? And on December 31st, the mortgage definitely passed. No, I'm saying, but you know what? You want to get people thinking. You want to at least give them some options and give them some information. But that's something that's real relevant going on right now with things with the with the short sale market and things like that. Carlos had brought up one earlier, interest rates. So the interest rates have risen. So anybody have a question? The buyers tell you the interest rate. We don't want to buy right now because the interest rates have risen. Come on, somebody. I know you're hearing that because everybody's working with buyers. Somebody give me something. What do you say when someone says that to you?
Have they already been pre-approved, or we haven't been pre-approved?
We'll take it both ways. They've been pre-approved.
Okay, I always say, you know what, numbers are the truth, and let's go back to the lender and look at what the numbers are with the new rate and find out what the truth is about what we can and can't do.
Okay, all right.
And let that be the guide as to whether or not we can or can't. 'Cause I don't really know if they can or can't.
Right.
And I'm not going to take them to show a property if they can't.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Anybody else have?
Or, interest rate continues to rise, keep in mind that the higher the interest rates go, your buying power is depreciates. You might be able to buy right now at 400,000. Well, as the market continues to rise, then you might be able to buy at 380. Later down the line.
Right.
Take advantage of the market now.
Adam, nothing wrong. That's a good answer, Carlos. Adam, Ben, thank you for that.
I ran across a different objection, just wanted to see what your perspective was whenever you're ready for that question. I know we're going.
Well, I mean, well, hell, you just threw it out there now. I might as well answer it.
Pittsburgh, west of Tampa, they said they weren't interviewing agents just yet.
Mm-hmm.
I asked them, when will you be interviewing agents? A week or so. And they procured buyers.
Well,
How would you approach that situation?
this vote can be a little bit different. One thing with for sale by owners, the majority of the time, the for sale by owner is not listing with you as an agent because they want to save on the commission. That's the majority of the reason. So, the only thing that I probably would have first started off different, since you were that far along with the for sale by owner, is I would have asked them, Mr. and Mrs. for sale by owner, Adam, I know that you're trying to sell your home by yourself, but let me ask you a question. Is there anything today that I can do that would get you to list your home with me?
Bring me a buyer, but I'm not paying a commission.
So you basically want me to bring you a buyer, but you don't want to pay me a commission. So you want me to do what I do every day for a living and bring that person to you for free. That's what you want me to do?
Well, yes. I mean, yeah. Then I just come down to a realization that I'm not serious about it.
Well, right. And that, but you have to be prepared to not be willing to take that deal. Now, let's suppose that in that same dialogue, though, Adam came back and said, well, you know what, I just don't, I'll pay you 3%, but I don't want to pay you 6%. I don't want to pay you that because I'll just pay anybody that brings me a buyer. So let's suppose he said something like that to me. Now, I would say in a situation like that, well, let me ask you a question, Adam. Realistically, since I do this every day for a living, I'm out lead generating. I'm looking for buyers and sellers for homes. How often do you lead generate a day?
Just an open house at my for sale sign.
So realistically, when you're not home, or if you're not sitting in an open house, your home is off the market, correct? So you mean to tell me that you don't see a value in the fact that you can have an agent who's one of the top agents in this area marketing your home full time, not only to the public, but marketing to the top agents in the valley that have buyers right now looking to purchase. You mean you don't see the value in that, Adam?
It doesn't make sense.
Let me do this. How about if I were able to sit down with you, show you my presentation, show you what I do to get buyers, show you how I possibly can get a buyer for you faster and can get you more money than what you're going to probably get if you try to market it on your own. Would you be willing to sit down and allow me 15 minutes to go over that with you?
I think that's logical.
Great. So when is it okay? Is it okay if we got together tomorrow at 6 o'clock, or is 8 o'clock a better time for you?
Tomorrow.
Great. What time tomorrow? 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock?
Let's do 7.
7 o'clock? Okay. We can do 7 o'clock. All right. But no, the point is, and I went all the way through that because you want to go all the way through the part of the close to get an appointment, right? So in that particular case, I'm not going to sell Adam right then on him listing the property with me. But if I can now get him to the point to where he's at least open to hearing my presentation, odds are one of two things. Either A, I got a real good shot at listing his property at that particular point, or B, which happens with most for sale by owners, is they do just want to give it a try on their own. And after they, come to the realization that it may not be for them, then I will probably have the best opportunity to list that property before he goes out and talks to a whole bunch of other people. Right? Because remember what we were saying about objection handling. It's not just about I'm going to get this deal right now and I'm going to overcome everything because the magic pill and I'm in the real estate trance. What it's about, though, is it is about me having a better opportunity more times in an efficient manner and being able to get it done quicker. So if I can overcome people's objections and I want a presentation and I can get that one time instead of having to go back 3 times, doesn't that allow me more time to find other buyers and sellers or spend time with my family or whatever else it is I want to do? If I can take that buyer and I can show them the one home, and I can show them that this is the home that they ought to purchase, and we can do that in one time versus me going and showing it to them, showing it to grandma, showing it to dad, going back there. You go back there 6, 7, 8 times, and obviously we know in this market that won't happen. But if you're going back a whole awful lot, but this market's going to shift. You know, so you guys got to be ready. It's not going to be like this forever. It's not like that now. It's already beginning to change. So it's going to change. So you have to be prepared with a skill set to be able to maximize your opportunities and get things to where you want to get to. So I promise you guys that we'd be out at 7 o'clock with those of you who want to leave. So I'd like to say, well, first, I think that we kind of did go over the difference between conditions and objections. We talked about why do we get objections. We've obviously been going over how do we overcome objections. So with that, I hope you've gotten some value in that. If you guys would like, there's a bowl up here in the front. There's a coaching program that I'm going to start doing shortly. If you guys are interested in it, it's not a Keller Williams coaching program. It's something that I'm doing myself. If you'd like some information on it, just put your card in the bowl. I'll talk to you about it, separately. And there will be a group coaching, and there also will be one-on-one coaching. So with that, thank you for coming. And for anybody who wants to stay, I'll stay and hopefully answer some questions. Thank you.